At this stage, you're probably familiar with creating tables in databases, but no table is ever static. Database developers are always restructuring tables. Sometimes they need to add new columns, delete old ones, or edit the data they contain. You can complete many of these basic restructuring actions using SQL syntax. In this video, you'll learn how to alter a database table by adding and removing columns, and modify the attributes of a database table. Let's start by exploring the SQL alter statement syntax. The first part of an alter statement is the alter and table keywords. These keywords inform the database that there is a table whose contents must be altered. This is followed by the name of the table to be altered. I then include the add keyword. This keyword tells SQL that there's one or more items to be added to the table. There are other keywords I could include here instead, but for the purposes of this example, I'll work with add. Finally, I insert a pair of parentheses. Within these parentheses, I declare the name of a new column to be added to the table, along with this data type. Now that you're familiar with the alter table statement, let's explore an example of this statement in action. However, before you can begin altering tables, you must already have a database on the server. So as always, make sure that you know how to create databases before proceeding, and ensure that you already have a table in your database with data that you can alter. In my example, I have a students table located within the database called college. My students table holds information on the IDs, names, and emails of each student in the college. I can demonstrate the alter statement by adding, deleting, and modifying columns in this table. My first task is to add 3 new columns to the table: age, nationality, and country. To add these columns using SQL syntax, I first type the alter table command, followed by the name of the table, students. Next, I use the add command to let the database know that I want to add new columns to the table. Then I input a pair of parentheses that contain the columns I want to add, along with the type of data they'll hold. These columns are an age column, which holds data in integer format, a country column with varchar as the data type, and nationality and country columns that hold varchar or string data. I also add a character limit of 50 to the country columns fields and a limit of 255 to the nationality columns fields. Then I execute this statement. I now have 2 new columns in students table in the college database. Country and nationality are very similar columns, and in most cases will probably hold the same type of information. So I can write a SQL statement to remove the nationality column. Just like the last example, I start my statement with alter table students table. Next, I type the drop column command followed by nationality. This command instructs SQL to delete or drop this column from the table. Then I run the statement. A notification message appears requesting confirmation of deletion. I press OK to confirm. The nationality column has now been dropped. Now it's time to alter the structure of the table. The country column has a limit of 50 characters, just as I said it originally. But now I'm going to change it so that it holds 100 characters instead, using the alter table command. I start with the syntax alter table, followed by students table. Then I type the modify command, the country column name, and the varchar data type. And finally, I add a pair of parentheses containing my new value of 100. I then execute the query. My country columns limit has now been updated to 100 characters. In this video, you learned how to alter and modify tables in a database using SQL syntax. Well done.